Have you ever met someone who seemed perfectly kind, calm, generous, almost too perfect? They smiled at the right time, spoke with measured grace, never raised their voice, never lost their temper, and yet something about them left you uneasy. You couldn't put your finger on it, but something in your body whispered, "Be careful." What if the real danger in people isn't in those who are openly cruel, angry, or aggressive, but in those who have no shadow? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist who gave us some of the most profound insights into the psyche, believed that the most dangerous people are not the ones who show their flaws, but the ones who hide them so well, even from themselves. They seem peaceful on the surface, but beneath there's a storm gathering, one they've never dared to face. Before we continue, if you find meaning in the depths of the human mind, consider subscribing to Deep Psyche. We explore the shadows, the patterns, and the buried truths that shape your reality. To understand Jung's warning, we need to go back to one of his core ideas, the concept of persona. The persona is the mask we wear, the version of ourselves we present to the world. It helps us function in society, polite, agreeable, well-adjusted. But the problem arises when we begin to believe that the mask is all there is. Because behind the mask is the unconscious, a realm vast and wild, home to instincts, forgotten memories, repressed feelings, and perhaps most crucially, the shadow. The shadow is everything we refuse to see in ourselves. The envy, the rage, the selfishness, but also the wild creativity, the primal instinct, the unapologetic truth. It's not created by evil or trauma alone. It's shaped by the tension between who we are and who we think we're supposed to be. As children, we learn quickly what gets us love and what gets us rejected. So we mold ourselves. We push down the parts that don't fit. Maybe we're told that anger is bad, so we hide it. Maybe ambition is called arrogance, so we bury it. Maybe our sensitivity was mocked, so we armor up. But the buried doesn't die. It waits. And over time, it begins to speak through dreams, outbursts, addictions, projections. Not because it wants to harm us, but because it wants to be seen. Jung warned us, what you do not make conscious will be lived out as fate. In other words, the less you know about your own shadow, the more it will control you from behind the scenes. People who never confront their darkness don't become saints. They become ticking time bombs, not just to others, but to themselves. Here's the paradox. Those who think they're all good are the most dangerous because they lack reflection. They lack self-doubt. They lack the humility to say, maybe the problem is me. They justify their control as care, their manipulation as protection, their cruelty as tough love, and they'll convince you and themselves that they're always on the side of righteousness. But deep beneath their moral glow is a shadow bursting at the seams. The moment you challenge them, even gently, you'll see the cracks. Sarcasm, cold withdrawal, silent punishments, or worse, a passive-aggressive game where you're made to feel like the crazy one. They don't explode like overtly toxic people. They erode slowly, subtly, until you start doubting your reality, shrinking your needs, tiptoeing around their expectations, all while they keep the mask perfectly polished. You'll hear phrases like, "I'm only saying this because I care. Everyone says I'm the nicest person. I never get angry. I'm just concerned." But your gut knows something's off. That's your nervous system detecting the split between who they pretend to be and what they've never dared to integrate. And this is where Jung's insight cuts deepest. The danger isn't in darkness. The danger is in denying it. A person who says, yes, I can be selfish, I can be reactive, and I'm working on it, is far safer than someone who says, I'm always kind, I never hurt anyone. I'm not like those people. Because the one who admits their shadow is in a relationship with it. But the one who denies it, they are controlled by it without ever realizing it. Jung believed this refusal to see the shadow wasn't just a psychological problem. It was a spiritual blindness, a refusal to look inward, a dangerous innocence. And that innocence turns venomous. Not because it wants to, but because it has nowhere else to go. All the energy we spend suppressing our shadow leaks out sideways through bitterness, chronic dissatisfaction, control, or self-righteousness. So, how do you protect yourself? By listening to the unease. Not every well-mannered person is safe. Not every smile is genuine. Sometimes the most harmful people come wrapped in politeness because they've never met their own truth. Jung's work invites us to ask, what am I not seeing in them? But more importantly, what am I not seeing in myself? Because the more we know our own shadow, the easier it is to spot the games, the masks, the manipulations in others. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you felt this unease with someone but couldn't explain why, you're not crazy. You're not paranoid. You're awake. And the truth is, they may never change, because doing so would mean admitting that their perfection was a lie. But you can choose differently. You can face what they avoid. You can meet your shadow, befriend it, learn from it. Because when you do, you don't become darker. You become whole. And in that wholeness, you become immune to those who haven't yet met themselves. If this reflection opens something inside you, consider subscribing to Deep Psyche, where we dive beyond the surface and into the soul. Because knowing yourself isn't a luxury, it's protection. And if this video resonated with you, take a moment to like it so more people can hear what their mind may not yet understand, but their intuition already knows.